Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Shanasia Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. Let your voice shine. You already know where you landed. It's the Her Voice Shines podcast with your fabulous host, Shanasia Washington, streaming from Houston, Texas. And man, I've been in a good recording cycle. And I already know this was going to be just the same. I am so ready to meet this guest. And you already know what they do when they come here. They come to the stage and tell us their name, where they're streaming from, and we get the magic of their story. Without any further waiting time, here's my very beautiful guest for today.
Hey, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Amy Thurman, streaming from Norman, Oklahoma. We're neighbors, basically. I have lived 10 years with a broken neck that went undiagnosed for 6 months. I was working at a university one day, and the very next day, I couldn't even take myself to the restroom. So I got up during the night, and I felt sick, and I ended up passing out, and I landed on my face on the hardwood floor. And the impact from that fall sheared my brainstem, caused a traumatic brain injury, and it broke my neck, but nobody figured it out for 6 months. So for the first year after that accident, I was completely incapacitated, laying flat in bed, could not lift my head off the bed, missed that entire year of my children's lives, and I almost swallowed a handful of pills because it was just so miserable. But this voice inside me said, "You're trying so hard to die. What if you take that same energy and you flip it around and you use it instead to fight to live? Maybe you can get better. And if you can get better, maybe you can use your story to help others." So I began to fight to live with the intention of using my story to help other people. And people began watching me fight my way through the medical and disability systems to reclaim my life and kept saying, "You need to write a book about this. You're so inspiring." And inside I was thinking, I'm literally clawing my way out of hell. Why would I want to write about it? But they convinced me. And so I wrote a book about my experience, and it's called Finding My Hero Within. And that book took on a life of its own. I was not expecting that. It literally gave me opportunities to rub elbows with celebrities. I was on a Times Square billboard. I was invited to the Emmys to gift this to people. I'm speaking internationally in places, and I just was not prepared for that. I wrote it to help other people, but I didn't expect that people would classify me as a celebrity. That was not why I did it. I did it to help other people, not for fame or notoriety. And so that really threw me for a loop, and it sent me into another deep, dark place. And so this time I walked into a mental health hospital and I checked myself in, and I stayed there for a week to get everything back to where I needed it to be able to take care of myself, because I wasn't taking care of myself adequately. And so when I came out of there, I understood what strength really looks like. Strength is what society tells us that strength is, has been a lie. That falling apart was actually the best thing I have ever done. And I learned from that experience that the power of holding space is really what saved me. It wasn't the medication, it wasn't therapy. It was someone sitting with me and allowing me to fall apart in safety, in a safe way, with no judgment, not trying to fix me. And so that's what I do now. I hold space for people. And it has been such a wild journey for me to even tell this story. It's like, I can't believe I have gone through all of that, but it really is just a matter of knowing that I'm here for a reason, that I have a purpose, and that my story is meant to help others, and just embracing that, owning that, and using it in that way, as a way and a method to help other people. And that's what I'm all about. And I'm so, so grateful to be here to share my story with you. Thank you.
Now, Miss Amy, you a whole hero, girl. I know this. I'm serious. I know you wrote the book and everything, and your life took different legs and everything about it. But my goodness, for me to you, here are your roses, and you have to accept them. You can't say no.
Well, thank you.
You don't work like that around here. You can't say no, and I have to honor you in that, because I don't know if you guys caught that. Miss Amy said she's lived with a broken neck for 10 years. Do you hear that number? With 10 years, a decade. Y'all hear that? That's not a week. That's not I broke my arm after a car accident, for a couple of months, and I broke my leg and I'm riding on one of those funny scooters. It's not that. She said for 10 years. And that is nothing small, Miss Amy Thurman. So I don't know where your mind goes on maybe even the lowest days, but you better remember that. Because for you to be standing here, I know a lot of old folks in my time told me this: you don't look like what you've been through. They would say that. And that's what I see today. So I honor you in that. I want to go back because you said they could not figure out what was going on. They did not know. So here's also, I'm in this pain, and then they don't even know. So I have not only the physical stuff, I got all the mental stuff because we don't even know what's happening. Tell me what happened and how that reshaped your relationship with your body and honestly your life. Because there's a reshaping that has to happen when it's so much unknown. You have no choice but to be reshaped because everything that you knew before, what you thought you knew, she already told you. The definition of what the world says about strength just ain't it. I can tell you that too. Tell me about that reshaping and how did it reshape you?
Oh, absolutely. It was really, really a powerful thing. My son, he was a teenager at the time, said to me, like, there are two kinds of people who go through what you go through and it sends them down and they become a victim, or people like you who go through what you've been through and it sends them up and they become a victor. And I thought for my teenage son to say that was really powerful because he saw me fight my way through it. But there was a mindset shift. I told you I almost swallowed a handful of pills. But after I realized that I'm going to fight to live so I can use my story to help others, I began listening to, because I had to lay flat and I couldn't walk, talk, hear, or see correctly. I literally could do nothing that I could do before the accident. And I really, really fought to get back to the person I was before because she was comfortable for me. I didn't like that version of myself, but it was comfortable. It's what I knew. And until I realized, like, I can't get back to that version. I'm not meant to be that version. I'm meant to step into a new version of myself. And so I came across Rumi, this poem by Rumi that changed my life. And it goes like this: Ye who seek God apart, that which you seek thou art. If you wish to seek the beloved's face, polish the mirror and gaze into that space. And that poem told me that every answer I seek can be found within. I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking outside myself for fulfillment, for self-worth, for validation, and that's not where you find it. And so I began to polish the mirror and study what was going on inside of me, and that was life-changing for me. And that's why I named my business Polish the Mirror, because it's all about, we have to go inward before we can make any kind of impact outward on the external.
Oh, Miss Amy, that is so good. And I tell people 2024, well, 2020 a little bit, then 20 started moving a little bit, pandemic and all that. But 2024 until now, it's been a deep unworking of self. And I tell people, this version that you see of me that just sits here and just does it, you don't know the pain it took to get here. You don't know the sleepless nights it took to get here. You didn't know the unanswered. I never thought I was going to get answers to some of these questions, but the key to that was finding it within me. There was nobody else. Yes, my mother loves me. Yes, my grandmother loves me. Yes, my child loves me. But it was not the answer that I needed was going to be found in them. And I love them with everything in me. But what I had to do, Miss Amy, was a solo mission.
Absolutely.
Couldn't take no passengers with me. As much as I probably would have wanted to, wasn't designed to be that way. So I love the fact that you've used this. Miss Amy said I wanted to swallow some pills, and I'm so glad you didn't. I'm so glad that you got over that to share this, because it's people that are dealing with things. And I tell people in this climate that we're in, everything is just, so political, so angry, it's so many mental triggers and so many different things. A lot of people on edge. It's people that are doing it every day, Miss Amy, that say, I can't do this thing. I can't take this thing. It's just too heavy. And they're doing the thing that you thought that you were going to do, but you did not. So I have to honor in that and keep being rooted to self, because we never know what's up ahead. I don't know what's up ahead. None of us know what's up ahead. That's why doing that internal work is going to be always what grounds you. Let me move here, Miss Amy, because I feel like I feel like Miss Amy, I can sit and talk to you all day, but I want to make sure that we highlight you in the best way. You talk about this thing about presence over performance. I love this. I love this. You in my tribe, girl, because I love presence over performance. Tell me what that means in an everyday form, just in case people are a little bit confused. Because I tell them, if I'm going to show up and do this thing, you're going to get my presence. I don't care what it does. If I've showed up and done what I've called to do, I don't care if one person click like. I've showed up in my presence, Miss Amy, to do it. So tell me what that looks like in everyday terms.
Oh, absolutely. It's very, very powerful. People don't understand. I can't remember if I've said this already, but I don't feel like we have a mental health crisis. I feel like we have a presence crisis because we're more connected than ever through our devices, but we're more disconnected than ever because of our devices. And this is something, this presence, this holding space is something I've been doing for years, but I didn't understand that's what it was. It's just something that kind of comes natural to me and has been very helpful in my career as an educator and a social worker. And it's something that happens to me in grocery stores, in doctor's offices, anywhere I am where there are people around. It's like I wear this invisible sign that says, please bare your soul to me. People will come up and tell me things that they have not told anyone else. And at first, when that began happening, when I was in that performance mindset, I would be looking at my watch like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I have so many things I need to do. I can't stand here and listen to you bare your soul to me. But once I realized the power of this, that I need to put aside whatever it is that I'm trying to do to perform and be in the moment, be in the now with this person. This person is sharing this with me for a reason. And I have come to learn a lot from the people who share things with me just by being willing to step away from that performance mindset and step into, okay, you have my undivided attention right now. How can I serve you? That's what I'm about now. How can I serve you? And the things that I was so worried about getting done, they would take care of themselves. People would cancel or things would happen where I didn't need to do them. And so when I began stepping into the power of presence with people, it really, really took me on a different trajectory in life. And I began realizing that I've been doing this with my kids as they grew up. I've been doing this all over the place. And like I said, as an educator and a social worker, and now I'm offering it in a more widely to people in general through my podcast. And it just has been so powerful. Like I said, people share things with me that they've never shared with anyone else. And they're telling me that it's helping them become unstuck, that most people are stuck because there are things going on that they're not talking about, that they're not sharing openly. We think about way back when, centuries ago, people used to sit around and talk. Like they didn't have devices. They didn't have places to go. They just sat around and talk. And there was a lot of healing that was done in those times, and that we have to bring that piece back. And that's what I'm determined to do. I'm determined to do my part to bring that piece of presence back to us and to our humanity.
Miss Amy, I can say I'm so happy you came today because I was just sometimes I have a tendency to fight what you just was talking about because I have the same thing. I will be doctor's office, grocery store, and people just tell me their life. I said, what's happening here? Like I don't even know your name. What's your name? Like I'm like I don't even know your name, and for so long I fought that. Like why me? And even on this very podcast, we've had guests say a numerous amount of times. I've never shared it out loud, and I can't believe I'm sharing it actually on the podcast. We've had it. I should make a reel about it. How many times it drops? And I fought that for a very, very long time. I was like, and I told God, I said, God, what is this gift? I don't want to give it back. I'm not the right person for it. I'm crazy. Maybe that's how I talk to. That's how I talk to. I said, I don't want it. This is too much. It's just too much. Mm-hmm. And when I started to, number one, and I tell people this all the time, I said, one thing, I don't care about the podcast, whatever title I'm doing, or whatever I'm doing to make a living. One thing you must remember about me, I'm a servant, I'm a forever learner. You can wipe out all other adjectives. You can wipe out all other accolades. You can take it all away. Because at the end of the day, you got to say those two things about me. I know every day I woke up and lived up to that. So that's first and foremost. But then I had to unpack servant. Miss Amy, I thought that just because, I got up and I made sure I go take care of my grandparents, I do this and, volunteering in church and everything. And I thought that was my service. Oh, but Miss Amy, when I started to pull back those layers, Miss Amy, oh my gosh. And just I think was it Thursday? Maybe 3 to 5 days ago, I was literally in the nail salon, and then I'm just like, I'm just trying to come here, get a quick eyebrow wax, get a little manicure. I ain't really got time for all this. I just want to do the little thing, get out. And here comes a lady with all her stuff. All her stuff, Miss Amy. And I'm thinking, I got so many things to do. I got to get out of this place. I got a child here. We're trying to get, weekend groceries, all this kind of stuff. And this woman, she just did it. And when I tell you, I was like, and I looked at my watch, and this is real life. Looked at my watch, I'm like, dang it, I'm about an hour late. About to be an hour late because I had somebody I was going to interview that day. And I'm like, I'm never late to podcast interviews. I have a process and I want to make sure. And right when I was going to text that lady, I was going to text her. She texted me and said, I'm so sorry. I had a family emergency. I had to cancel. And right there in that moment, Miss Amy, I had to thank God for making me be obedient to stand there and be available, to stand there and work through that. When I was thinking like, oh, got all these things to do, he had already worked it out. He'd already worked it out on the other end. He said, I just called you to be obedient. I just told you to do what I asked you to do and stop worrying about everything else. You crazy child. I want to do this in my design. So I'm so happy you shared that because it confirms something in me. It confirmed that these conversations are not random. It confirms that when I go into these rooms, he designed for my presence, not my performance, Miss Amy, to be right there.
Absolutely. We don't get to choose. Like we think we're choosing with the way we're serving, but when we make that commitment to be servants, we don't get to choose. We just have to be open to what comes to us.
Oh, it's something. It's something. I mean, you would never even think that you would be in this place in your life. I know if you could look back 20 years ago, you would have never known this to be Amy's story. And Amy's story is still being wrote. It's still being crafted. But Amy just has to show up and do it and be obedient. And I know that she will. Let me ask you about this because you have a space method. Okay?
Yeah.
You have a space method. I want to know about that method. And I want to know, it's more than just being a good listener. I know it has some things to do with those components. I want you to talk about that and walk us through what that space method really is.
Of course. The SPACE method is SPACE. Of course, those are acronyms for other words. And the first one is S, that you start with yourself. That, again, it's just like anything else. You can't love someone else until you learn to love yourself. You can't hold space for someone else until you learn to hold space for yourself. Everything begins with us. So S is start for yourself. P is the presence piece. It's not performance. It's not trying to fix people. It's simply being a calming, welcoming, non-judgmental presence. And the space method is what I teach people on how to effectively hold space for others so that you understand what this is and what it's about. And so it's just being a presence, a calm presence for them to allow them to share the things that they want to share without judging them or trying to fix them. A is being authentic, is just allowing them to be authentic and not trying to guide them or steer them in any direction. Because if you think about conversations that you have maybe with friends or other people, in the back of your mind, in the back of my mind, I was always trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to respond to this? How am I going to react to this? Like, what am I going to say next? And this piece is we take that out of it completely, that we're not focusing on what we're going to say next. We're focusing on what they're saying to us and allowing it to just sit, allowing it to just settle. And silence is okay. Like, we don't have to feel the silence. Emotions are okay. People will cry and they will sob and sometimes they will rage, and everything is okay. So it's just authenticity. C is the, what is C? I'm so worked up. I'm like, oh, I want to do this, SPAC. C is consistency, just being, not trying again to fix them, but just consistently allowing them to be who they are, and asking them, like when people talk to me, and especially on the podcast, I can relate to a lot of things that they are talking about. And so I will ask them, is it okay if I share with you an experience that I had that's similar to yours and what happened? Or sometimes I'll ask them, I teach people to ask them, like, what do you feel like you need right now? Do you need me to just sit and listen? Do you need me to respond? What do you feel like you need? What would be the most helpful for you right now? And then the E is to exit gracefully. You're going to exit and leave them with love. Leave them not just out there on their own, but you're exiting gracefully in a way that they feel like they've been heard, they feel like they've been seen, and they feel like they've been understood. And that is one comment I hear from almost everyone I talk to, is that you make me feel seen, heard, and understood. And it's just because of this space method that I've developed and the way that I hold space for people that allows them to just be who they are without judgment, without trying to fix them, and be a safe space for them to just fall apart and allow them to fall apart and be human.
Mm-hmm. And when I was in corporate America, I left in 2021, so I've been out a little bit, and I've had a lot of consultants and HR people and stuff come through the podcast this week, which is like, what's happening? I don't know. It's like I didn't make a call for all these types of people to come in, but that's
right.
Who this week. But what was interesting in that, and it also allows me to kind of cycle through, kind of similar to what you were doing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was practicing this method in corporate America, and it was shunned upon, essentially holding space for people. It was something I did very naturally. It was something that I knew. I mean, I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know that it was, I knew it was valuable, but I didn't realize how valuable it was until much later, right when I left. And I just shared with my last guest, I literally had somebody who I would deem my toughest report. He was just a young guy, very entitled, kind of talk to people any kind of way. They really wouldn't fire him. I think his daddy had some power with the company. It was just like a lot of different power plays that was going on, but he reported to me. And a lot of them didn't want to deal with him if I wasn't around, because it was a space I kind of held for him that was different from the entitlement that they would give him around. It was more like, okay, like what's going on? I don't know what you know or what you think is right or what you've been taught, but let's talk about what's happening when you do that thing and what happens when that comes out of your mouth in that way. And after all that time, he reached out to me. It's been over, my child's 8, so it's been over 8-9 years now. He reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, man, I remember just some of the things that you would say. I mean, he's older now. I think he's had a kid now, so maybe he's going through some unworking on the inside of him. So for him to come back, and when I opened the thing, I thought it was a big, long message, Miss Amy. I said, what does this boy want? I don't know. I haven't talked to his kid in so long, but he poured out to me and told me that he just understood basically what I did for him. And he wanted to thank me for that, because there were things about our conversation that was different from anything that he had before. And we're talking about an environment. And I was so bogged down because they were like, oh, this is not, family, it's work. And, it's all these different things that they would say about, my community build. I would call it a community building managerial style. And I never knew that I was in preparation for this phase of my life. I never knew that. Never knew I'll be having conversations. It was in the course for me to meet Amy Thurman today. Who would have known, right? Never knew that was preparing me for this part of life. And when he shared that, it literally brought tears to my eyes, because it was so hard for me to do that in that space. And I'm just so happy that I let this and that intention lead. And it still made meaningful difference, even when I couldn't see it right then on the spot. So I know what you're doing, Miss Amy, is leaving a ripple effect. I just want to encourage you to show up and keep doing it, girl, and keep knocking it out and creating the space, because I know for a fact that it's creating a ripple effect, and you're creating memorable moments that people will come back and cherish forever. I just wanted to share that with you because it took me there.
No. Thank you. Yeah, we have no idea the lives that we're impacting.
We don't know.
Just by living our lives and being who we are. And that's, my thing, the more authentic we can be, the more we are positively impacting other lives. It's really powerful.
I love it. Now, one thing I want you to highlight again, because I want a lot of people to catch this. Miss Amy says support without fixing. And she talked about a little bit, in the space method. We had a little moment where she kind of touched on that. But I want you to give some advice for leaders, people, maybe even parents. Like, how can they support without fixing? We don't want this finger pointing, We want you to support without fixing.
Yeah, that's the really most powerful piece of it. And the piece I think that people feel the most safe to share is that just being present with them and not trying to fix, because most of the time as parents, especially those of us who as parents, we feel like we have to tell our kids how to do things, like the way we did it or the way we learned from it is what they need to learn. But what we forget is that people learn the most by experiencing things themselves. And so what I do when I hold space for people is I really just serve as a mirror to reflect themselves back to themselves. I like to say that I help introduce them to who they really are at their core. And so, like the other day, my last podcast recording, my guest was sharing something that she had never shared before, and she didn't know how to get through that. And I said, well, tell me about how that feels. I want to know what are you doing about it now and what's not working. And the more she talked through that, the more it just came to her automatically. And that's what I find happens, that when we just ask questions more about understanding how they're feeling about it and what they're going through, they end up coming up with their own solution. We don't have to fix it for them. If we reflect it back to them, they will come up with their own solution if they're given the safe enough space and just giving it right back to them in a place that just holds presence for them. And she said, like, this light bulb, you could see it in her face. She said, oh my gosh, like that was it. Like she knew it. And I said, you already know it. It's already there. And that's something that I firmly believe, again, is that every answer we seek can be found within. We don't need people telling us what to do or how to do it. We need to go within and connect with our intuition and the clarity that we already have to allow it to surface. It's simply a matter of clearing away the things that aren't us to get to who we are at our core and allowing it to surface. And that's one of the things that I do, and not fixing them, is again just reflecting it back to them and allowing them to figure it out for themselves. And they do it right before your eyes. It's really, really magical. It's really, really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And it forces them back to their center. This is, we talked about, we've been forced back to our center just like a child. If you give them every little thing, give them every little answer, give them every little thing, how on earth are they going to figure out how to get in there and trust the gut and align? Like, how are they going to do it? So you have to actually think about that. You can't fix everything. It was not in our creator's design for us to fix everything. We were all creating individual journeys. If that's what he wanted, he was like, "Whoa, there go a millionaire. We're gonna throw them all at one time and go." That is not what he did. He said one individual person, and that's what we have to do, and allow them to support themselves and really get it back to their center. I want to ask you this really quickly, because when I looked through your information, you said you define success as alignment. I said, now come on now, Miss Amy, and say that success is alignment. I love it. A lot of people have measures on different things. So if we're thinking about, it's alignment and it's not numbers, how do you measure that alignment in life and business? Because it has to feel it, right? Like I say, it's alignment, but what does that look like in every day? And how do I make sure that I am aligned with my definition of success? I want to let you talk about that.
Yeah, it's something that people will find controversial because there's no metric, there's no measuring. It simply is a measure of my intuition and what I feel is right for me. And I have made some decisions in my life that people have questioned and doubted, but have been the perfect direction for me. It was the path that I was meant to go on, because I knew internally that my body and my soul and my spirit, everything I felt inside, told me that was right. And our emotions are part of our communication system that we are taught to bury, that we're taught to ignore, but they're so powerful in helping lead us to where we're supposed to be in life and the trajectory and the path that we're supposed to be on. And so I talk a lot about emotions and allowing them to serve their purpose and not stuffing them down, because research shows, this is mind-blowing, research shows that when an emotion comes in and it hits you and you feel it, if you don't hold on to it and grab onto it, or if you don't fight it, or if you don't push it away, it takes 90 seconds for it to serve its purpose and to dissipate. 90 seconds, that's it. So you think about anger. Someone does something that makes you so angry. You grab onto that anger and you hold on to it, and you really, really take it personally. You own it, and you're just holding on, stirring and stirring on that anger, and it starts to live with you. It starts to take root in your heart, and it starts to become a piece of who you are. But had we listened to that anger and approached it with curiosity and said, what is this anger here to tell me? What is it? How is it going to serve me? And what do I need to learn from this anger? Instead of holding on to it, 90 seconds it will serve its purpose and it will move on. And so it's really, really a powerful thing. That is what I call alignment, that I am learning to be aligned with my truest, highest, most abundant self. And that's a process that I had to learn. Like, that's my polish the mirror framework, is the last step is self-alignment. But you have to go through self-discovery and self-love and self-value before you can get to self-alignment. So it's not just something that you snap your fingers and you can do. It's a process that you have to learn more about yourself to be able to dig in there and build on that before you can get to self-alignment. But it's very powerful. It's how I operate. It's how I've been able to do all the things that I've been able to do. And it's given me the life of my dreams, literally.
I love it. And I love this for you. I'm like I said, just listening to everything and for you to get to this place of such clarity, there's this definitely calming presence about you. I'm just incredibly proud of you. I'm just incredibly proud of the strides, like of you just sticking it in there, like when it wasn't easy. Like when I seen alignment, I was like, okay, yeah, I have to go there because like that is my whole thing now. And like they had people know, they're like, oh, it's still her, she's still that kind of quirky girl in there. But there's something different about how she navigates this space. There's something different about her optimism. There's just something different about her presence, how she carries herself. And it really has truly come back to alignment, Miss Amy. And that is where, for whatever time I have left in this space, that will always be what matters to me. And that is alignment. Now, I want to make sure, Amy, that we have, I know, of course, we talked about Polish the Mirror throughout, a little bit throughout the podcast, but I want to make sure we have a clean segment for that. I always allow my guests to give us of course, the name of the business again, which we know is Polish the Mirror, and then 1 to 2 to 3 lines about the overarching goal of Polish the Mirror, and then all of your connection points. How do we reach out to you, whether it's website, socials? I want you to have a clean segment for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate, again, the opportunity to be here. And yes, my business is called Polish the Mirror, and it helps you learn to go from living and operating in fear, from living and operating in love. That one, it seems like a minor switch. It's a major thing, can change your life, because the society teaches us that we're supposed to fear everything, but we're not intended to live that way. We are love. We are beings of love, and that's how we're intended to live. And so Polish the Mirror is a framework that, like I said, that takes you through the self-discovery process, then takes you through self-value and then self-alignment to live the life that you're intended to live. I believe that we came here knowing who we are and what we're supposed to do, but well-meaning people in our lives have taught us otherwise. And so it's just a matter of remembering who we are and who we came here to be. And so I offer, my podcast. I have holding space sessions. I do keynote speaking. I do workshops about moving from living in fear to living in love, authenticity, holding space. And you can find all of that on my website. It's www.getamyshelp.com. It's pretty much a one-stop shop for my books, my podcasts, my socials. All of that is just found on my website. And I'm just grateful to be here.
Yes, ma'am, and you are more than welcome. But let me tell you something, Miss Amy. I've prepared a session for you. It's called Rapid Fire. I have 10 pre-prepared questions for you, and you don't get a whole lot of time. You get a word, maybe a sentence and stuff here. So they're designed just to keep you present and in the moment. Give me a morning ritual that you can't skip.
Oh gosh, I have a whole ritual. I do meditation. I do energy clearing. I do visualization. Yeah.
Tea, coffee, or something else?
Herbal tea every day, all the time.
All of my guests have been tea. I drink green tea. I like black too, but green is my favorite. I had my green tea this morning. Okay.
Love me some green tea.
Yes. Give me a book that always grounds you.
Oh, geez. A Course in Miracles.
Oh, okay. Haven't heard that one. Give me one word you hope people feel after being in your presence.
Important.
Mm-hmm. Most used word or phrase in your work?
Probably I understand. I say that a lot. I understand.
Mountains, beach, or the city to escape?
Oh, mountains. I worked in Yellowstone for 3 years, and that will always win.
Okay. See, I haven't had a lot of experience with the mountains, but it's on my to-do list. A quote that's on repeat in your head. If you had like an affirmation, if there's an affirmation that Amy could just say, this is the one, what would that be?
It is, I am allowed to be me. It is safe to be me.
Mm.
And it's safe to be me.
Give me some advice for someone who's tired but pretending they're okay.
I understand. I have totally been there. Um, that I just want people to know that you don't have to. You don't have to pretend that you're okay, that really the power lies in accepting that you're not okay, admitting that you're not okay, and then taking another step and asking for help. Like society
Mm,
tells us not to do that, but that is one of the most powerful things that I have learned to do.
I love it. Now, someone is calling Amy Thurman on the phone and telling her to go speak at this location, this dream location. Where are they calling Amy to come to? Where is that location?
That's going to be on a TED stage or a TEDx stage.
It's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, I feel it. I do feel it.
Um, Tell me this: one thing you wish more people understood about healing.
That it is not linear and that it does not happen overnight and that it's hard work. It's not easy, but the process and the work that you put in is so worth it that you have to want it bad enough to do the work to be able to get to the other side of it. And it's such a beautiful process, such a beautiful thing.
And I want you to finish this sentence. Amy Thurman leads
Because she loves. Like, I just simply want to be love. I don't want to express love. I want to become love and let people feel that I am love.
Let me tell you something, Miss Amy Thurman. You're doing it. And I want to thank you for being here. I really want to thank you for being here. It's been a very refreshing shoot today. Now, this is the part in our show we cue to our guests for final thoughts. We asked them to get some great parting words for this space and actually some really good words that captures the essence of Amy Thurman. I'm going to go over to you for final thoughts, and I'll be back to close the show.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. My final thoughts are that you are more powerful than you think. We end up giving our power away to other people when we have all the power within us. We just have to know how to tap into it and use it to benefit us and use it to put us on the path that we're supposed to be on, that we came here to be on. But when we constantly give our power away, then we can't have it for ourselves. And it seems, and people tell us that it's selfish, but it's not selfish at all. We can't fulfill the mission that we came here to do unless we own our power and we take it back and stop giving it away. And so I want to encourage you to own your power. Know that it's okay, that it is very needed. And that's what the world needs you to do, is to understand that you are powerful and that you can own it. And that is the best way for you to use your gifts to help the world.
Absolutely. And I love that advice, you guys. And one of the things I didn't get to really piggyback from the rapid fire session, but they're worth in the healing. Like, if you really want it, you got to get in there and get it. And it's not going to be easy, but you have to want it more than the place that you're in. So thank you for sharing that. And let me tell you, everyone that's out there in the Her Voice Shines podcast, and I tell you, miraculous things happen when you let your voice shine. Like the folks say in church, I love you, there's nothing you can do about it. So really, until next time, I want to give you guys our goodbyes and let you know that we love you. And I'll be back in really no time with another amazing woman on the Her Voice Shines podcast. Until then,